My name is Sean Daniels. I'm a coordinator for the Carpentry and Renovation Techniques program at Confederation College. The carpentry trade is very physical. It could be inside work, it could be outside work. You need many different skill sets, communications, math, a good understanding of layout. The lab I work in is fully equipped. It has all the modern tools that a carpenter will be exposed to: a table saw, planer, belt sanders, has all the hand tools, a skill saw, and you'll be introduced to all the tools in here. A good tradesman uses math quite a bit during the day. So whether they're figuring out area, volume, or linear footage of materials, and just for construction layout and building layout. So math is very, very important. And then there's a communication course where they cover a cover letter and a resume writing and just basic sentence structure. There's no 10,000 word essays in that communication course, so you don't have to worry about that. So leveling to me is a major project, differential leveling, building, set and grade. And then I start with a work stool, build a work stool, students do that, cover all the safety. I actually build footings in the shop, and we build walls in the shop, then we build roofs in the shop. First semester typically, and then the second semester we'll get into roofs and stairs, hand railings. There's also CR225, which builds off of CR125. So CR125 is a prerequisite for it, and it's a continuation in the shop after Christmas. So 6 hours in the shop per week after Christmas. And usually we'll end off with roofs around Christmas, and we just continue on with roofs after. CR226, which is residential estimating, and CR126 is a prerequisite for that. So what I do in CR226 residential estimating is I take a set of plans and I work through that set of plans to figure out all the quantities, and then your culminating activity in that course is I give you another set of plans and you figure out all the quantities for a house. So we basically break down the entire quantities for a reasonable size home, 1,200, 1,300 square foot home, right from site work to exterior finishing. Taking this program will help you get an apprenticeship. If you look at the individual courses in the program, CR124, an introduction to the carpentry and renovation field. It's nice to know where your employer is coming from. You don't usually see that in an apprenticeship. In that course, you'll see all that stuff. You start off in this program, Carpentry and Renovation Techniques, you end up with an apprenticeship, and then the sky's the limit. You can run jobs, you become your own boss, become an estimator. It all starts here. So it's a one-year certificate program. So they'll end up with a certificate, one-year certificate for this program, Carpentry and Renovation Techniques. And they'll end up with their working at heights, asbestos awareness training, and confined space training that most employers like. So the pathway to an apprenticeship, you can go the union route or you can go the non-union route. And I suggest you take whichever one you get, whichever one comes along. Again, the onus is back on the student to go and actively get an apprenticeship. You have to seek it out. So you have to approach employers and tell them that you want to get an apprenticeship, and will they register you? So that's on the non-union side. On the union side, you go to the union hall, and if there's nobody on the books, then they'll go off their list and they'll send you as a permit, and you have 480 hours of probation. So if your employer likes you, they report back to the union, they say, yeah, we like this young man or young woman, and then you'll end up with a formal apprenticeship. Right now, carpentry and renovations, it's a huge industry. There's lots of opportunity. There's employers are looking for people that want to work. So a good attitude and good work ethic and some knowledge, and you can set yourself up.
My name's Jessie, and I'm a part of the Carpentry and Renovation Techniques program. I chose to enroll in this program. It's always something I sort of wanted to do. Part of it is my family that's starting to grow older is to look forward to taking care of family properties and being able to help out a little bit more that way. And I've enjoyed working with tools since growing up with doing a bunch of projects with my dad. We grew up building decks together, any type of other projects. Being a crazy Finlander, we built a 20 by 30 foot sauna out at camp, so it's been good.
I'm Suvi, and I'm in the Carpentry and Renovation Techniques program. I chose Carpentry and Renovation Techniques so that one day I can build my own house, and if it comes to the point where I just have to get a house built, I can actually see what they're doing, and I can understand then that if they're cutting corners or not doing things properly.
What I've enjoyed learning is just how true that it is to be meticulous with our measurements, and you can see it throughout some of the other classes that we have, which is blueprint reading. Everything's down to a particular size and measurement that you would do to scale.
Well, coming into this program, I don't think I was expecting to do lab work or like learn about like the soils class and all that. I was expecting most of the other stuff, but to be able to do experiments, I always enjoyed that in high school, so it's fun.
I'm looking forward to expanding just beyond the simple things, basically going more into the structures, so walls, framing, roofing, and just a better understanding on base of the support structures when it comes to particular things, so knowing the ground of how it's been prepared and what you need to do to make a level deck and things like that.
I'm looking forward to the roof building, and I think there's a wall involved as well. I think that'll be interesting because it'll tie into me building a house one day.
So what surprised me most about this program is there is definitely less numbers of women in the program, and I do find that it's a very inviting environment that I feel a lot of women should not be so hesitant to, excel themselves in something different in their life.
I like the hands-on stuff, like the building when we did the stool. That was a lot of fun, just putting things together.
So after graduating the program, I hope to find ways maybe to venture into apprenticeship. I already have a career job that I'm currently in working with school right now. So it's just kind of seeing where I can balance those sort of aspirations that I have moving forward, which may be looking at a different type of apprenticeship, and then possibly going into creating my own business when it comes to like furniture, tables, barn doors, anything further into that, kind of excelling on some of the design work that I already do.
One of the first semester projects that we do is this work stool. And to accomplish this work stool, you need to learn a few things about the shop. And this is one of the spaces that the students use. There's also this one, and there's one in the McIntyre building, 420, has all the same equipment. So I'm just going to roughly show you some of the tools that you're going to use to make this bench, which are very, very helpful and very, very useful. So this is a table saw. This is something that you will learn to operate properly in the program, Carpentry and Renovation Techniques program. It's the backbone of any carpentry shop, a good table saw, because it can cut sheet goods like this. It can rip. It's excellent for ripping plywood. You can rip dimensional lumber with it. You can make fine furniture. You can do a multitude of different tasks with this saw. Today I'm going to rip a sheet of plywood for the width of my bench. So this is the miter saw, and we use it in this project to cut our plywood to the correct length for the top and the sides and the middle shelf. And we also use it to cut our trim, the trim that we install on this work stool, to the correct lengths. This is a scroll saw, a very handy tool for intricate work. You can make, the beauty of this thing is that you can drill a pilot hole, then you can set up your work on it, and you can cut out a handle like this, square handle, or you could design anything you want inside here, and you can cut it out if you just take the time. Any shape that you want to cut out, you can produce with this thing. So now that I've cut out my project, just gonna quickly look at the drawing again to make sure I got the pieces in the right places, but I've already checked the length on everything. Everything is good. So I'm gonna screw it together. And I guess one of the biggest things with any project, I have to fabricate or screw it together so that it's square. Plumb, level, and square are probably the three things to live by as a carpenter. So I read the plans here. This requires a little bit of glue. So I'm gonna glue my pieces together on the sides. This top one will help support, this top support helps to support the top, and this bottom one supports the bottom shelf. So I'm going to use the bandsaw now to cut out this little notch in the bottom of the sides for the stool. But the bandsaw, is somewhat similar to the scroll saw, but does bigger angles. It doesn't do the very, very fine tight work. You can get different sized blades for, smaller radiuses or bigger radiuses, but it's just generally a little more, it's a tougher tool. So with the Carpentry and Renovation Techniques program, you learn to build simple projects like this. And although this is simple, it does cover a lot of tools. It covers the table saw, miter saw, scroll saw, air nailer, and bandsaw. And then sanders at the end. So there was a lot of skill involved here. And this type of project, this is the first one we built in the class. Then we move on we do a sawhorse, we do footings, we do stairs, hand railings, metal studs and drywall, and a couple other small projects that you will gain a lot of good experience with.